Hello. Welcome to Point of View. Today we like to talk about India and Australia. Prime Minister Scott Morrison fended off accusations of racism and having blood on his hands Tuesday, as he retreated from a threat to jail Australians trying to escape COVID-racked India. France 24's Rochelle Harrison talks on Australia walks back racist India ban after backlash.
Criticism over this plan from the government since it was first released. Tell us a bit more about reaction so far.
That's right. There's been an enormous amount of backlash. Immoral, outrageous, racist, disgraceful. Those are just some of the terms that have been used since this controversial ban came into effect on Monday. One critic even went as far as saying Prime Minister Scott Morrison has blood on his hands. Today, a swathe of MPs, many of them from the coalition government, have called on leaders to reverse the ban, this controversial ban which criminalises any Australians trying to return home from India. They risk a fine of up to 66,000 Australian dollars and even up to 5 years behind bars. And now the Australian Human Rights Commission has called on the government to prove that these measures aren't discriminatory and that they are justified by medical advice. Meanwhile, there are questions as to why India is being singled out when there were no such bans for places like the US or even parts of Europe when those places were grappling with COVID outbreaks. But with 57% of positive cases in Australian hotel quarantine coming from India, the government says this unprecedented move is justified.
Rochelle, what is the situation like for Australians in India? There are some 9,000 of them.
That's right. There's about 9,000 Australians currently stranded and wishing to come home from India. Of those 9,000, some 650 are considered vulnerable. Now, many of those Australians would have ended up in India because they were taking care of sick family members or perhaps dealing with other personal emergencies. But those, the same people that were given permission by the government to travel to India during the pandemic, because a reminder that Australia's borders are closed even for outbound travel, and any Australians wishing to leave the country need to apply for an exemption. Those same people that were given permission by the government have now been left by the same government to fend for themselves. The question is whether this is legal, whether this is a violation of citizenship principles, and whether this is a breach of international obligations. Now, Australia's Human Rights Law Centre said it was actively considering mounting a legal challenge after being approached by a number of Australians stranded abroad. In the meantime, this ban will be looked at further this week by the National Security Cabinet, and any changes could be announced this Friday, but that also includes an extension. That remains a possibility.
Rochelle, thank you for that. Rochelle Harrison, plus they're reporting for us from Sydney.
Lakshmi Chaudhry and Sundeep Roy of First Post wrote that The Washington Post has put together a fascinating map of the world's most and least racially tolerant countries, a nifty infographic that paints the world in hues ranging from deep blue tolerant to a dark red racist. India is swathed in crimson.
India is growing and changing fast, but some traditional views are still in place. Institutions like the caste system have been outlawed, yet caste discrimination and segregation still occurs. The most recent economic data indicated in urban areas a wealth gap of 60% exists between people traditionally from the highest and lowest caste. So what is the Indian caste system, and how is it affecting modern India? Well, the caste system is a hereditary social hierarchy, also called the jati system, that's existed in India for nearly 2,000 years. Historians think that these social distinctions may be based in ancient Hinduism, which delineates 4 major social classes, or varnas. On top are the Brahmin, usually described as priests and scholars. Then come the Kshatriya, described as nobles and warriors. The Vaisya, below them operate commercial businesses, and then the Sudra, below them are referred to as laborers or servants. Then there is a fifth group completely ostracized from traditional Indian society, the untouchables, now called the Dalits. This is the lowest caste and is relegated to undesirable jobs like cleaning sewers. Because they are considered impure, the Dalits have been regularly segregated from schools and religious temples, and there are reports that some have even been punished for letting their shadow fall on someone of a higher caste. Experts think that this hierarchy wasn't strictly adhered to in the region until the British claimed India as a colony and wrote the caste system into their laws. From there, the system became more rigid, and when India gained independence from Britain in 1947, it was ingrained into the culture. Obviously, the Dalits got the short end of the stick in this historical arrangement. But in 1955, discrimination based on caste was outlawed. And to help reintegrate lower castes into modern society, the government later implemented affirmative action like quotas for certain jobs and university admissions. However, vestiges of the caste hierarchy undoubtedly remain. A politician's caste continues to be an important deciding factor for many voters, and marrying or acting outside of one's caste continues to be taboo in many rural areas. For India to become completely caste-free, more education, government policies, and social programs may be needed.
We have come to the end of this video. Thank you for watching. Let us know the videos you like and leave your comment below. We have regular videos, so be sure to hit the red button below.